And we're back for another episode. In this episode, we're going to be doing the post-credit story stuff for Final Fantasy XIV. And as always, hello from Mithrie. So the credits rolled, and unfortunately my recording corrupted. And we're now back at the Rising Stones, so we need to talk to everyone here before we can start the 6.1 story. So let's talk to Kryl first. Oh, Mithrie, how are you feeling? Any lingering aches or pains? I can't apologize enough for sending Xenos to find you in Ultima Fall. When he came to me in Shardian, I was truly torn. As ever, there was only one thing in his mind. Forced to make a decision, I reasoned that if he would not be deterred from seeking you out, he might at least aid us in our cause. And so I struck a bargain. In the end, he was true to his word, and you defeated him despite your earlier exertions. But knowing the state you were found in, it could have ended very differently. My decision almost cost you your life, and no words could express the remorse I feel. It worked out, you did the right thing. I won't lie, I thought that it was it for me. It is a relief to hear you say that, thank you. Time and time again, I've been made to feel woefully inadequate. I wasn't much use in battle, nor could I face the forum without my nerves getting the better of me. It always fell to you and the others. I must and will do better. And I shall begin the restoration of the students of Baldassian. Through our work, Shardian will strengthen its ties with other nations, that we may be better prepared to face whatever threats arise in the future. Of course, this isn't something I can accomplish alone, but thankfully I have the staunchest of help in Raha and Ojika and others remaining members. Together we'll continue Grandfather's work. As before, certain commissions will take us to dangerous locales, and we may need to call upon seasoned adventurers. In such times, might you be willing to assist us? Not because you feel obliged, mind you, but because you feel allured for the task itself. Yes. Marvellous. Should something of interest arise, I shan't hesitate to reach out to you. Until that day, I shall endeavour to become a more dependable comrade. Okay, let's talk to Alpha Node. Oh, Mithrie, pray forgive me for delaying the gathering. I was writing a letter, you see, to my parents. As busy as Father has been, tending the aftermath of the Exodus, he has been good enough to show concern for the Scions. And besides, I've made them worry enough for a lifetime. Henceforth, I will endeavour to write as often as I am able. A little effort to set their minds at ease while we continue to be away from Shardian. Both Elise and I are off to assist with Garlemald's recovery, you see. Though uncertainty remains over what will become of the nation, we cannot well leave the capital in the present state. We will rejoin those members of the Isobard contingent still stationed there. Lucia and Maxima helm the relief effort, and with support from our allies, the people of Garlemald among them. It will gradually be joined by those who have finished treating the tempered across the lands. Lest you misunderstand, we do not seek redemption for failing Lucinia and her sister. That is a burden we must always bear. Nay, we go because of the truth in Lord Quintus's words. The truth that whatever ideals individual may expose, nations are not moved to action unless they stand to benefit. For the foreseeable future, the fallen empire will be at the mercy of both internal and external forces. And though I do not doubt the intentions of the contingent, with greater powers involved in the release effort, our allies may well find themselves drawn into a political agenda. In going, we seek to ensure that the needs of the people come first. To understand their hearts, that we might help better them to begin anew. You best write me too. I'll visit when I can. Write you letters, of course. I would be glad to do so. But I would be glad still were you to come and visit, and I believe I speak for Elise as well. For fairly as long as I've been in Eorzea, you've been at my side, watching over me in good times and in bad. How many times have we gathered to share tidings? None could possibly keep count. The world is changing and will continue to do so, yet no matter what the future brings, I hope I can ever look to you. In good times and in bad, as a dependable comrade and dear friend both. Thank you, Mithrie, from the bottom of my heart. Alright, let's talk to Elise next. So, Mithrie, seen to your preparations, have you? I'm just making another sweep of my belongings. Wouldn't do to find I've forgotten something halfway to my destination. Oh, in case you hadn't heard, we've received new reports detailing the devastation caused by the final days. It appears the situation is gravest in the land surrounding the Bounty, where the sky first began to burn. After that, the calamity was observed in far north, in Garlemald, and in the frozen lands beyond. We also had reports of the heavens catching fire in isolated locations, one of which was an area in the northern Empty. Had our quest taken any longer, Charlian too may have come under threat. Thank goodness it's over now. To be sure, blasphemies and lesser beasts may still be roaming about, but these localized crises should be well within the capabilities of each nation to handle on their own. The science are no longer needed. Which isn't to say that we won't help out where we can, of course. As individuals, no more of this order business. For my part, I'll be heading to Garlemald with Alpha Node. They were among the worst affected and still need all the help they can get. It won't be easy. An inevitable part of aiding those in need in coming face to face with tragedy. Knowing it doesn't make any sense so, that I'll curse my weakness, my inability to fix every problem and save every lost soul. But no matter how much it hurts, I won't give up. I'll do what I can for as many people as I can, begrudging no effort. And should I find myself discouraged, I'll remember you. Think back fondly to one of your many moments of triumph and the accompanying determined expression. Even those that still annoy me in retrospect, like you when you activated the teleporter without warning. And should you hear about me, I want you to remember too. To remember that I'm out there somewhere trying my very best. I look forward to hearing all about the legendary Elise Leveleur. I think you can keep up with me. Not that I'm trying to become famous or anything. That being said, the next time we meet, I'll be vastly improved. So don't be surprised when you find yourself marveling at me. Okay, now let's talk to Urianger. So Mithrie, thou hast spoken with our comrades. Though this parting be not forevermore, there's nonetheless occasion for sorrow. Akin to a pixie's path, the navigation of such farewells is a perilous endeavour indeed. Thereupon, however, the Loperites embark upon a new beginning. Though bereft of its purpose as a vessel, the moon yet remaineth hospitable for the creatures of Aferis. Thus do our lunar visitors convene with the Forum, intent upon assigning some new and beneficial role to our solitary satellite. Yet, ere that may come to pass, there is much and more each party must learn of the other, a process which doth promise to be eventful indeed. To that end, a cadre of Loperites have gleefully dispersed across our lands in the name of mutual understanding. Hydaelyn, 'tis said, did imbue them with her love for all things born of this star. And 'tis Vanat's own nature, I believe, which doth manifest in this irrepressible, inexhaustible courtesy of theirs. Having witnessed that which strove to achieve, I wish most keenly for their long labours to be rewarded, that their abiding affection for man result in a boon for all. Moreover, I hope to continue our acquaintance and share in such knowledge as they see fit to impart. Acquaintance? I'd like to call it friendship. You are the first truly to understand them. Dost thou think so? The Loperites are certainly possessed of a unique outlook, and have been my pleasure to act as their facilitator upon this star. Mayhap I might serve as a bridge betwixt them and our fellow man, as Moonbreeder once did for me. But I shall digress no further. This day should belong to the signs of the seventh dawn. To mine incomparable companions, oft times have mine retinence caused thee grief. Mine actions spurred allies to suspect betrayal. And yet, here amongst you I still stand. No amount of words could express my gratitude for thine acceptance and forgiveness. Thus instead I do proffer my humble support. To be it unto the deepest abyss or the highest heavens, even if I must needs thunder cross stormy seas, ever shall I answer thy summons. Cool. Alright, next one. Let's talk to Thancred. So, Champion and Savior. I was beginning to think my chance for an audience would never come. That sounded more amusing in my head. Speaking of heads, I was worried about yours, and the rest of you, for that matter. On the mend, I trust. Glad to hear it. You were in a bad way, and healing magics or no, I'm impressed of how swiftly you recovered. Then again, 'tis hardly the first time you've cheated death. Your strength of will has never failed to astonish me. Look at what you've accomplished. Mithrie defeated, her Song of Oblivion cut short, the source of all her reflections delivered from the final days. If you had faltered at the last, then all hope would have been lost, but you held fast. Now, Rin has a tomorrow to look forward to, and I could ask for no greater gift than that. As for a lesser gift, however, the next time you see her, I would appreciate you not describing my travel plans with Urianger as aimless wandering. We've a purpose in our roaming after all, keeping an eye on things in the absence of the science on the world stage. There'll never be an end to the little problems that go untended by nations. We will do our best to help out where and when we can. Which I suppose is an approach not far removed from aimless wandering, when you get down to it. Perhaps you could tell her I am faring well, and leave it at that, eh? No need to mention this feeling of being uprooted. I've never been one to stand still for long, but when I think of home, 'tis the rising stones which comes to mind. How many times have we set out from this base, thence to return when our work was done? On the days of the Scions come together, I only hoped for Mithrie to find a place where she belonged, but never did I expect to find one here for myself. It told me, Mithrie, I have a question for you. I'd imagine Mithrie herself is asking. Are you glad you joined the Scions? Best decision I ever made. There's never been a dull moment, that's for certain. I can honestly say the same. But all good things must come to an end, at least for a time. Should you need a helping hand for infiltration or reconnaissance, you know who to ask. I'll come running and you'll likely get a certain fun-talking fortune teller into the bargain. Alrighty, let's talk to Estinian. Doing a blinking contest or what? He lost. If you have something to say, then out with it. Just worried how you'll earn your keep now. Just wondering how I'll earn my keep now. Well, I thought you adventurers had any number of ways to earn coin. And though the Scion's mode of operation has changed, we should be compensated as before. In any case, I do not want for options, even if some are worse than others. No sooner did Aymeric hear about our disbandment, than he offered me a position as a guardsman in the Empyreum district. As a former Azure Dragoon, I'm guaranteed to be popular, he said. Who does he take me for? Even without his meddling, I'm perfectly capable of finding employment, and have. Some days ago, a Hannish envoy arrived with a word from Vitra. The one requests my presence as soon as things have settled here. He didn't deign to mention why I'm needed, but it pertains to dragons, like as not. In Favnir, like elsewhere, the phenomena caused by the final days abated when you defeated Matoyan. Though it was too late for those who had already transformed, life is beginning to return to normal for the survivors. For those who sought refuge in Sharlayan must have already returned home. But many do not have a home to return to, nor loved ones. By an arrangement between Vitra and the Forum, such souls may remain in Sharlayan if they wish to work and study. Now, Vitra was always a satrap in truth. It's gratifying to see him become one in name as well. One who has the complete confidence of his people, if the envoy's tone was any indication. I often find myself speaking favourably of dragons of late. Not so long ago, I would have assumed his benevolence had ulterior motives. It is clear that he cares for his people, and they in turn revere him. To know such a nation may flourish is comforting. Vitra's kin sought to release from conflict. So weary were they of the suffering it wrought, they surrendered to oblivion. But Mikasoma didn't give up, in hope that he made the journey to distant Etheris with his clutch of eggs. And though his progeny went on to be embroiled in conflict with men, there were times when they transcended hatred to abide in harmony. That is their legacy and their triumph. In my lands, I feel the weight of their struggle and the strength of their resolve, and it lends me strength. These things I might never have learned had I not joined you. Should you ever have need of me, I will come. At the very least, it might be an opportunity to earn coin. Alright, let's now talk to... Let's save actually Y'shtola to last. Let's talk to Grahatia. Oh, Mithrie, might you have a moment to talk? With the Scions stepping away from the public eye, I've been left to consider what new endeavours I might pursue. And after speaking with Kryl, I've decided I'll be assisting her in rebuilding the students of Baldassian. Not only am I indebted to Master Galuf for giving me a new home, but had our order never existed, I would have never set a foot within the Crystal Tower. How different my life might have been. I would never have met you, never become caretaker of the tower, never become a Scion. You gave me the chance to do so much good, and I hope to continue to do so with the students. For an added benefit, new mysteries often find their way to our doorsteps. Mysteries that could prove ideal for fulfilling our promise, to embark on a new adventure together unlike any we've experienced before. Huzzah! Whenever you have the time and inclination, my friend, I stand ready to accompany you onto the unknown. Do you recall in the realm of the Omicrons, when I asked if you thought I may someday be mentioned in your epic? While it is true that to earn a place at your side would be the stuff of dreams, in the end, nothing would give me greater joy than to stand with you in the here and now. It needn't be some grand endeavour, there needn't be a promise. Whenever adventure calls, I won't hesitate to invite you, and I hope that you will do the same for me. Without a second thought, as long as you don't overexert yourself. I'll hold you to that. As much as we have already seen, there's still so much we haven't. Who knows, perhaps we will even encounter survivors of the Omicron somewhere out there. After all, given how they took to the stars, it isn't implausible that some found themselves far from home. And should we encounter a wayward traveller awaiting commands, that will never come. I would bid them seek adventure with someone, and with that partner find a new purpose, a new dream. For if crystals can hold fast to dreams, why not Omicrons? Wherever your plans may lead, do not hesitate to send word, and should a commission of interest come my way, you'll be the first to know. Alright, then last but not least, Y'shtola. Yish. Oh, are we saying our farewells too? I hadn't at present planned on a journey of any great length. Not that I am adverse to a moment or two of quiet reminiscence. In fact, there was something I'd been meaning to ask you. Something that had been in my thoughts since the last flames of the final day subsided. During our travels, we have witnessed more than a lifetime's worth of oddities and spectacles, more than can easily be recalled or remembered. And nestled amongst those memories are certain essential facts, the history of Aferis and the ancients, glimpses of the EA, of their culture and philosophy. Rather than simply hoard such treasures in mine, I wonder if I should not be disseminating them in formal records of wider consumption. When needed, I have penned reports and prepared briefings, but ever have I barked at the idea of binding the subject of my studies in a book or a tablet. Truth be given shape in interpretation, when we seek to capture it with our words, it is invariably molded to fit a narrative, no matter how well intentioned the rendering. An event is described as sad, a summation which fails to express the emotional complexity, yet the word on the page is what endures, a pale shadow of reality. Throughout history, some have deliberately embellished the truth, but I believe many, if not most, deviations are the result of similar linguistic shortcomings, piling upon the other until the end result is unrecognizable from its origin. Which is why I fear that writing an account in my own words would be akin to diluting fine wine with water. Yet, even with the potential for corrupting meaning, I do of course realize the importance of keeping written records. Without them, my search for wisdom would be a painful affair indeed. But what say you on this matter? Should I take up the quill, reflect upon those whose experiences only we have shared, and seek to preserve them on patisserie? I don't know what the word means. Aye, let them be read and remembered. Very well then, I shall endeavour to pen what I can of the EA and the ancients and of so many wonders. But I am no scribe. It will be less a polished work and more a reordering of scattered notes. In any case, I feel much better for having sought your opinion. Left to our own devices, we tend to overthink such things. I will otherwise return to following where my curiosity leads. After all, a safe method of travel to the first yet eludes me. And our venture into the great expanse has prompted an entirely new set of questions. Should you stumble upon the unknown or struggle with some impenetrable mystery, know that I am at your beck and call. It never hurts to see things from a different perspective, and mine is rather different than most. Fair enough. Okay, so we've finally spoken to all of them. So now let's talk to Tataru. So I've spoken your fill, have you? If so, I'm thinking to send everyone off. Leave the Rising Stars? Sure. With your permission, then. Your attention, please. At risk of spoiling the mood, the time of departure is upon us. In my capacity as your receptionist, I bid you all safe journeys. Till next we meet, be well. Cool. So we'll get the wind-up Helios, the Argos horn, and 2 orchestral rolls.
I suppose we're off to Garlemald then. Though we ought to speak with Lord Emmerich first. If he's received word of any recent developments, we need to know.
'Twould be prudent to purchase some warmer clothes at least. Mayhap we can pick up a few souvenirs for Euless and the others while we're at it.
Where will you all be heading next?
Dravania. There is a book I've been meaning to borrow from the Great Google Library. And I can think of at least one person who will be most displeased should I fail to visit before leaving.
We've no particular destination in mind, but we do intend to stop in Sharlayan before we set off.
We had thought to ask after the Loporrits. I am curious as to how well those who chose to remain are adapting to their changed circumstances.
Might we accompany you then? Raha and I were planning to return to the Baldessian Annex.
Commissions have been piling up in our absence, and they must be dealt with ere we begin our work in earnest.
Estinian, you will return to Radzat Han, will you not?
Aye. For Vritra's benefit, though I've yet to hear the details. I may not stay long.
I see. Then it is here the Scions at last part ways, each to some far-flung corner of the realm.
Perhaps. But I believe one of our number, a rather important one at that, has yet to divulge her plans.
Well, you know, you can subscribe to my 6 YouTube channels.
Quite
And my-
right.
My gaming news,
Indeed.
my Let's Play channel,
Fair point.
my vlog channel.
So, what's next for our humble adventurer?
My finance channel. And my main channel. Mwahahaha. Fair enough. So that's the end of Endwalker. Yeah, stand tall, my friend. Our journey will never end.
The constancy of this place never ceases to amaze me. An ocean of souls, shimmering and eternal. And yet, something stirs. Yes. Steeped in darkness, deep as starless night. The beast hungers. Alas, I dare not investigate in earnest before the coming of my guiding star, as she foretold. We shall descend to the depths, you and I, to confront the dread beast Pandemonium. Oh, the sights we shall see.
But you have completed the main scenario quest. Endwalker quests to unlock new content have now become available in Old Charlian. Additionally, you may now enter the dead ends with your party of NPC avatars. Use this feature to open the trust system. Rest well, champion of Aferis, for many and more adventures await you. Interesting. Alright, so let's see if I can change my title at least. So, I've been using the Shadowbringer title for a long time. Is there one that is called Endwalker? Let's sort by name. I have a lot of titles in this game. There you go. Endwalker Mithrie. Alright. so I apparently failed to equip it. So anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me, and goodbye from Mithrie. Bye, guys.